Hey everyone, Kurt Bosshardt from Denison Yachting, and
Ryan Alexander.
we are in a little port town called Porto CARRAS, which is about 100 kilometers south of the second largest city in Greece.
And today we are walking you through motor yacht AGATHA, super yacht right over here over our shoulders. She's 130 feet long. One of my favorite features is the beach club,
Which opens both sides and has a 17-foot Novarania tucked into it. So you pull the boat out, put both sides down, they have teak, set up some chairs, and it's a really nice pass-through for being close to the water line and swimming and doing fun stuff.
Another thing that I think is really cool about this boat is on the bow, there's a big tender garage. It raises up hydraulically.
There's a crane tucked in there. You can stow a small tender, a rescue boat, or a jet ski in there.
And there's even room for an extra jet ski forward of the ground tackle up there.
AGATHA was hull number 3 of the CRN Custom Line. There have been 8 now that are built. If you're not familiar with the Custom Line of yachts, it is a brainchild of Ferretti. Typically, they build smaller yachts. They get up over 100 feet. They call them a custom line, and they actually utilize the CRN yard in Italy to build these larger yachts. She was built to RENA classification, and she is MCA compliant, so she could go into a charter service here in the Mediterranean.
On today's sea trial, we shoved off just after the sun came up. We did a couple laps around what they call Turtle Island. Just a really beautiful area, great environment for seeing what this boat can do. The first segment of today's cruise, we went nice and slow, and then as the morning went on, we picked up speed. We ended up hitting 17 knots, but this boat with her MTUs is capable of 20 knots.
We're in northern Greece, which is quite a bit different landscape and topography from southern Greece. There's even some snow up here, so it's quite chilly.
Now that we've introduced you to AGATHA, we're going to take you through space by space, show you around, and we're going to get today's walkthrough started up on the Sundeck. Perhaps the most functional go-to space for entertaining is the topmost deck of this 130 Custom Line. Most flexible is the aft end, where at the moment we see what little deck furniture has not yet been winterized for the season. In warmer months, this open deck area can entertain a dozen or more with the help of a nearby wet bar on the port side. Thanks to this, drinks and snacks also make their way to the forward end of the Sundeck, which is covered in large part by a molded overhead added to offer cover to this large alfresco dinette for 8. The hardtop is also home to the radar mast, which has been outfitted with domes, receivers, and radars that keep the captain informed in the wheelhouse below. The final spot to take a look at on the Sundeck is the raised built-in jacuzzi found out in the open air. Surrounded by a polished safety rail, this is a secure spot for the whole family where you can spend some time enjoying the sun. Wrapping up on the Sundeck, we're next going to jump down a level and transition to the primary dining venue on board, the voluminous bridge deck aft. Loved for several reasons, this deck serves as one of the main spaces where everyone inadvertently gathers throughout the day. The view from up here is stunning, whether you're sitting out in the sun along the aft or dining underneath the sprawling hardtop. This dinette is capable of seating up to 12, and with the help of a portside wet bar, service to this area is always straightforward for the crew. Before looking at the other exterior deck spaces, let's next follow Kurt inside and take a look at AGATHA's Skylounge. This is where you come when you want peace and quiet or to find a more formal spot to host in. Largely undisturbed, the layout in here, as you see it, is essentially as it was when she was commissioned. With the right eye and vision, this open Skylounge could be reimagined to elevate the guest experience. As it sits, you have everything you need in here, from seating on the starboard side to the modular TV cabinet opposite, as well as an overbuilt wet bar in the port forward corner. This bar is central to the high level of service that you can expect no matter where you find yourself on board, and it even features a stews nook with additional dry and cold storage forward. Heading beyond the Skylounge, you pass into the upper deck foyer, where you have access not only to a dayhead, but also a private entrance into the captain's quarter, which is to starboard. This captain's quarter is conveniently close to the action in the wheelhouse and comes equipped with a workstation and a private ensuite head and shower. Our next stop as we head forward is the wheelhouse. Everything in here is based around a fully adjustable electric helm seat that faces the yacht's navigation equipment and instruments. Integrated into a black dash are a pair of multifunction displays, as well as controls for the engines and a litany of other ship's systems. Seating for the crew is seen in the starboard aft corner, with additional standing room as well as a chart desk over on the port side. It's also worth noting that AGATHA has a Portuguese bridge that wraps around the front side of the wheelhouse, making life for the captain much easier as they take command of the vessel from one of two wing stations. This walkway across the front that connects these helms is ideal because it also keeps you in tune with the deck crew as they work on the foredeck below. The primary feature on the foredeck is the anchoring system, made up of twin pocket anchors, each with a corresponding hydraulic windlass. These allow you to rest easy when you drop the anchor and continue the next phase of your expedition. Shifting your attention to the bow, at first glance, it's easy to miss what's special. While this area may not be arranged with seating, which would likely go unused, this 130 is instead equipped with a hydraulically actuated garage on the forward end. As Kurt mentioned earlier, this is ideal for a rescue tender or other personal watercraft. When you hand the foredeck over to the crew like this, you see how much space is left on the other decks. A primary example of the combined benefit of having small watercraft up on the bow is seen as we transition to the stern. This swim platform looks and operates differently than almost any that you'll find in this class. Again, this space isn't tasked with carrying watercraft, which allowed the Ferretti Group to get creative. Resulting are things like a built-in overhead shower, as well as a deck gear system completely molded in and discreet. Other features include a starboard side passerelle with the shore power connection cable below. In its own way, this area combines with an incredible garage located on the other side of a watertight door in the transom. This is where the yacht's tender is stored and is deployed by an overhead gantry crane system. Wing doors like this one drop down on both sides of this storage area, which converts into a beach club once emptied of the water toys. The feature tying the on-the-water experience together is the area located directly above the garage, the main deck aft. From up here, you have a great view of your surroundings and the fun taking place down around the stern. The aft deck on board AGATHA shows that this area can be incorporated with the day's water sports or double as a shaded spot to get away with a good bit of privacy where you can sit and talk with friends. In addition to the seating area provided back here, another important feature is the engine room access door and stairwell located on the port side. Taking a quick look down in the mechanical space, the engine room is home to a pair of MTU 12V2000 M93 engines and other essential equipment like her Kohler genset. To give you an idea of how lightly used this yacht is, it's worth pointing out that her MTUs have under 2,000 original hours. The top end we hit while outside was 17 knots with a bit more headroom, likely giving her around 2 to 3 additional knots. The rest of today's walkthrough is going to take place on the interior as we take a look at the salon and the remaining areas that we have to explore. The overall layout of this 130 Custom Line is largely formal. One of the ways that you can tell is that the living area of the salon can be closed off from the formal dining. There's also this staircase to port that leads up to the Skylounge, allowing you to access the entirety of the interior without having to step outside. Seating here is arranged on both sides of the salon, with a conversation pit off to port and a love seat over to starboard. Passing through the living area, we next arrive in the formal dining room. Again, this space can be completely closed off, and there's even an electric pocket door with discreet access to and from the galley. At the table itself, there's seating for up to 12 that's surrounded by storage and large windows, both port and starboard. From here, let's take a quick pit stop in the galley, where we first see a multi-purpose space for the stew and the chef to coordinate plating and cleanup. This is where we see some extra counter space, a second sink, and a side deck access door. It's also at this intersection that we have a ton of storage that's found adjacent to the primarily stainless steel appliances of the galley proper. It's also off the galley that the crew have access to their private area on board. At the foot of the crew companionway is the common area, which connects to 3 lower cabins with bunks and private en-suites. This common area is home to a built-in dinette and a crew kitchenette on the aft bulkhead. Wrapping up down here, our next stop is the main deck foyer as we take a look at the guest accommodations on board. As you move forward of the formal dining to starboard, you enter the main deck foyer. In here you have several options for directions you can head, including a set of stairs leading down to the lower deck through this thoughtful security gate. And there's also an additional entrance into the galley right next to this. 2 other options are the watertight door opening onto the starboard side deck and the dayhead found just forward. Passing through the main deck foyer, we enter the first part of the owner's accommodation, which welcomes you with a comfortable office that doubles as a great area to lounge in with a book in hand. Passing through here, you enter the sleeping accommodation, laid out around an aft-facing berth. With nightstands to either side, as well as hull-side windows, this on-deck owner's suite offers you a ton of storage and a functional layout. Looking to the opposite side of this stateroom is a built-in desk and vanity that's just a few feet from the entrance into a beamy en-suite head and shower. This is one of the best features on board, with sophisticated finishes and a pampering design. The surrounding black stone is also an accent underfoot, contrasting the white stonework found in here. In addition to his and hers vanities, there are also his and hers stalls with a head and a bidet. Leaving here, let's follow Kurt back down below decks as we take a look at the 4 remaining guest accommodations. On the lowest level of the yacht, we next find ourselves in AGATHA's mirrored VIP staterooms. I really like the layouts in here. Ferretti Group added an Italian signature with the placement of the beds. This caddy corner arrangement has become a staple design element on more modern Italian yachts. Other things you'll notice in these VIPs are the large round windows in the hull that offer as much of a view as they do natural light. Near the window is a built-in bench seat, as well as storage, like we see with this walk-in closet. The other amenities are seen on the inboard bulkhead, where we see a vanity and countertop space just a few feet away from a TV, as well as the entrance into a private ensuite head and shower. These feature his and hers sinks, as well as a tub. On the forward side of the lower guest companionway are another set of mirrored guest accommodations. These are the most dynamic cabins on board, as they not only have side-by-side twin berths, but also Pullman bunks that drop down from the inboard bulkhead, allowing you to sleep 3. Like the VIPs, these staterooms also have a desk and a TV, as well as ample storage that separates the sleeping accommodations from private en-suites.
Thanks so much for joining us on today's walkthrough, Kurt. It's been a pleasure traveling with you.
Likewise.
Weather could not have been more perfect, really panned out for us. We hope that you enjoyed what you saw. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below.
And if you'd like any additional information or would like to talk to me about this listing, please just give me a call on my cell.